the match, and we went all the way to the final. And of
So
course, we lost the final by a goal that was scored in the extra time of the final. We would have won that trophy, but then Egypt was there and they managed to get the trophy.
Which tournament was that?
This was the African Cup of Nations. No, that this was a African.
Sekafa?
No, it was not Sekafa.
Right.
This was another tournament. I will confirm the name,
Right.
but it was not the Africa Cup of Nations. It was a tournament that involves all the other sports disciplines. It was not only football. It was all African games.
Yes,
Yeah, it was
yes.
all African
In fact,
games,
it was fifth All Africa Games.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
It was fifth All African Games.
Yes.
It involves all the other games.
Do we still have All Africa Games?
I'm struggling to see if they're there.
I can't remember it happening.
We need to find out if they are there. If they are not, Babu Namwamba, there is work for you. We've seen our president become a first diplomat of sports.
Yeah.
Ensure that if Africa Games are not there, make sure that you push it to make sure that they are back. Because African Games have been also games that helped Africa to even unify. Some of us could not even have met countries like Morocco's and Mauritius and Cape Verde and what have you.
Right.
But then when you hear that they are coming to town,
Yeah.
you start asking yourself, where is Cape Verde? What is Antananarivo? And you begin to understand these places. So really, it's important that sports...
You realize it's actually human. And there's always been the argument that our team, Harambee Stars, you know, right now the women are doing very well. Could it be because the women have gone far in their games, so they have learned how to operate internationally? Thinking about it, it is not new for the Kenyan women teams to win Africa Games. You know of what they do in volleyball.
Yeah,
they have gone to the World
done
Cup.
a lot of volleyball. Kenya is a serious challenger in volleyball.
Definitely,
We only not do it well in the international stage, but in Africa nobody plays with us. If they see us, they begin to tremble. The thing is this, Jonah. Even Harambee Stars now, we are having a game with. There is a game scheduled with Russia.
Oh my!
I hope it's not going to be politically and diplomacy. But there's a game scheduled with Russia. We have played Qatar. And we hope that this is going to continue. Let's give credit where due. We need to prepare this team. We are not in the AFCON this time, so instead of us playing the qualifiers for the AFCON because we had some issue and we were banned, we decided to do a lot of these international matches. And I like the fact that we've crossed the channels and gone all the way to other continents. I hope we get into Europe. And I hope we also get Russia is Europe, yes. But I hope we also get other teams that are of higher quality across the world, so that we can really test our team and give our team a bit of some international exposure.
Definitely, because we have to work hard internationally. Recently, we had the UN General Assembly. Remember that?
Yes.
Some of the highlight speeches. Did you listen to the speech by Netanyahu, the Ukraine's? Let me pose this question to you. Whose speech would you have really wanted to listen to? Of course, apart from your own President Ruto.
I would have loved to listen to speeches coming from people like, we don't get them these days, serious people who have gone through the transition of leadership and become people like Nelson Mandela. I would have loved to hear speeches like those in those assemblies.
Right.
I don't see that we have those people coming up into those assemblies.
Right.
I would have asked myself, what would somebody like Martin Luther King speak in that kind of an assembly? I don't know what he would have said.
Right.
I would have asked myself what people like Che Guevara, for instance, would speak in those assemblies.
Right.
In that kind of an assembly. So it's an indictment for me to UN to begin to allow more people who are people who have achieved some things across the world in terms of democracy, in terms of peace, in terms of other achievements, so that they can come and speak. It's not always has to be countries speaking and presidents.
Yeah.
I really hope that we can begin to get people who are speaking for peace, people who are speaking for things like climate change, people who are speaking for things like democracy.
Right.
I really hope those people can begin to be drafted into these
Personally,
assemblies. Yeah.
I would be more keen, even though this is your opinion, I would be more keen on what the Ukrainian president spoke. You remember him talking about Putin. And he said, don't trust Putin. And I listened to Benjamin Netanyahu's speech. Oh, wow, that was an amazing speech. In fact, he spoke of the blessing of joining with Saudi Arabia and the Arabian countries. But it can't escape the mind of people who listened to that speech, how he spoke of Iran as a curse, and he said that he wants that curse to be turned into a blessing when they start cooperating with the Arab nations and Iran and all the Saudi Arabian nations. That's when he pointed out that the Middle East is at the middle of all the continents. Did you know that? That it's at the middle.
When he said it, that's when some of us began now. Of course, we have been looking at the map of the world.
Yes.
I don't know what middle means.
There's something they want to talk about India. In fact, he brought out the aspect of some kind of infrastructure being built from India, cutting across all the way to Europe. But you see, it has to pass through the Middle East.
Middle East, you remember the sea route to India, the other time that they used to go around all the way, and Vasco da Gama going all the way for them to get to India. The reality is this, Jonah, that when you see the world beginning to, as war continues this side, other things are changing.
Yeah.
The Israeli and the Arab engagements had been a problem all through, and somehow these are thawing out, and we are getting to a point where you can talk about Israel and Saudi Arabia. Wow. That is
he even pointed out with his blue marker. In fact, he showed with his blue pen. He showed that look at how the map would look if Israeli partnered with Saudi Arabia, and people were shocked. And then he also spoke of AI. Israel has played a big role in innovations.
Yeah, Israel is a major innovator. Plays a big role in innovation.
Yes.
A lot of things that you find being high-level AI issues you'll find in Israel.
Yeah.
You are right. Israel plays a major role in that, and we hope that. And India is also a very major player in the IT world. So there is a bit of some engagement there. Yeah, I agree with you. The issue about
actually,
unity.
he spoke about Israel championing the use of AI to make the lives of the people in the world longer, healthier, and happier.
Yeah, happier is good. Happier begins and longer and healthier. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
The issue about technology is that you can actually transcend some things. Jonah, there was a time in this world, if you were up for some surgery, it meant that you are being given something to bite in your mouth, and you basically just have to be face the pain.
Actually,
and
they
a
would
bit of
call
some
men.
alcohol.
In Kisi land, they would employ 3 men to hold you, and someone would cut your head.
But then these days, you can even find people even being you can actually be go through surgery when you're still awake. The world has changed. And so when somebody talks about technology, oh my, it's a great thing, bring it in. But now the question, Jonah, we have to ask ourselves, where is Africa in all this? Where is Kenya in all this scenario? Because we need to ask ourselves where Africa stays. While the world is moving very fast, where are we? And where are we positioning ourselves?
Because now they are talking of intercontinental infrastructure. You know, we are talking of a highway in the sea between Europe and Asia. Africa, we still have internal infrastructure issues. We had our own Raila Odinga leading the AU infrastructure docket.
Yeah.
Where are we in terms of infrastructure?
I really wish that somebody like Raila Odinga could give us a report on what the infrastructure situation is today, what he thinks should be done, and what he thinks we should go to. Would be a very good thing for him to speak about. He's an engineer and he understands infrastructure. Raila Odinga has been one of the pioneers of infrastructure revolution in Kenya. You know that in 2003 going forward. He was a minister for roads and housing at some point. And I think really some of these things
Thika
we
Road
forget.
could not have happened without him
Yeah,
and Kibaki.
we forget some of these things, and we need to allow our people also, not always to look at them from politics.
Yeah.
Sometimes you also have to allow their professional capabilities to come out.
Yeah,
And I hope that this is something that can also be useful.
Definitely, one would argue that Raila is one technical guy, one professional guy that has been stifled, because even now, Raila has been up and about looking for signatures. You know that?
Yeah.
The way you as Free Kenya are looking for signatures.
Yeah, we are in the same ground looking for signatures, but now there are different signatures.
But now there is an argument. There is a serious argument that the way the dialogue manenos are moving, someone wants to go into the referendum faster than Raila. Someone wants to steal the show. Should we take that direction?
Jonah, it looks like where we are going, Jonah,
yes,
is something that we need to discuss about and talk very seriously as a country, and to dialogue and to discuss about.
Right.
I think that you look at what has been presented in the national dialogues talks, and you find some things that are really you have to start questioning. I think over 12 communities have demanded counties, Jonah.
Yeah, I come from the Sabaot community. Half
you
of me.
Are
half
part
of,
you are part of the demands for counties.
Yeah, actually, my mother is from
couriers
that
have
community.
demanded.
Yes.
I think it is couriers, your Sabawots. I think there was Wajir South. They've demanded. There is a demand from Suba.
Yeah.
So, Jonah, the question that we must ask ourselves is, first of all,
yeah,
do we want to balkanize this country, or do we want to decide that
even before
it is important?
Hold on that point. Before you lose it, don't lose that point. Before we balkanize, remember it. We have to be sorry to the Sabaot team, because the way they presented themselves at the Bomas,
Jonah,
and then on their way back, they got an accident, right?
Yeah, Jonah, I really hope that may the good Lord help the people who
quick recovery,
suffered,
no deaths.
deaths.
It was just minor injuries, actually.
But this is the thing. It also tells you about the issue about road safety in this country. It's a matter that we can discuss in another forum, in another place.
Okay.
But really, the question that we have is that let them quick recovery, Jonah.
Okay.
Let's wish them quick recovery.
Continue with the balkanization, right?
So, Jonah, when you get to a point that people can make demands on the question of their tribes being marginalized, they may be right, but then where are we heading with that? Where are we going towards? Are we going to get to a point that the 50-something tribes will go and get a county, or we are going to go all the way to 100 and something? Because the other thing that, Jonah, happens is that if you look at some communities we have in this country, they're not really, if you look at, for instance, the Luya, you will go there and you will find some sub-tribes in there. You go to Kalenjin, you will find some tribes in there. And you will go on and on and on, and you will find the Luos, you will find South Nyanza and other Nyanza, and this kind of stuff, Jonah. Really, we have to get to a point that we say that we want to make this country work, and sometimes we have to ask ourselves, this marginalization, can it be resolved by you getting your own county? Because these issues, when people begin to look at it, that we need a constituency, we need a county, this is where we begin to get to a problem in this discussion.
No. But seriously, Nicholas, even before you lose that point again, I cut you short so many times today. Yesterday, there was a serious debate in Parliament. They were discussing the 1,000 employees that had been employed at KRA, and 50% were from 2 communities. And 50%. And these are the issues we are dealing with.
Yes, and Jonah, the question that we must ask ourselves, how do we ensure that these things don't happen? Does it have to be that because you don't have enough people being employed, so you need a county? No, you will not employ those from the county to the national offices. So really, we really need to sit and discuss these issues, and for us, we feel that there is need for a national convention on the constitution and issues that we are facing. I don't know if the national dialogue is equal to that, because it's also a partisan dialogue, Jonah. It is a dialogue that is having one side is Azimio and the other side is Kenya Kwanza. It's not a Kenyan dialogue. It's being done in Kenya, but we know it's a bipartisan dialogue.
Okay, hold on that. Viewers, referendum, question mark. That's what we are talking about here. Is this dialogue manenos leading us to a referendum? Well, see you after the break.